Good evening, all. My name is Yolanda Jones, and I am the Director of Advanced Dental Education Application Service at the American Dental Education Association. Thank you for joining us this evening. So, this session is being recorded, so I ask that everyone remain on mute and feel free to enter questions into the chat. My colleague, Joseph Clark, our Client Success Manager, will be monitoring the chat box, and we will address as many questions as we can at the end of the presentation. The presentation this evening will provide you with information about the 2024-25 ADIA Pass application process for individuals interested in pursuing a residency after dental school. We have simplified the process of applying for you. You will complete a core set of information that can be used to apply to one or multiple programs. And the application cycle will open on May 8th and close on February 14th, 2025. So let's start with talking about who participates. There are over 700 U.S. dental residencies, and most of them participate in ADIA Pass. So if you're applying to programs that do not participate in ADIA Pass, you will have to apply to those programs directly. And you can find a full list of accredited programs on the American Dental Association's website. So they have a search engine where you can find all of the accredited programs listed there. So on the ADIA website, you can find the ADIA Past Program Finder, and that is a great place for researching participating programs. You'll find a profile for each program there. I'll just go and show you one. So you'll find a profile for each one of them. You'll find contact information, as well as requirements for their program. If you do have, and links to their website. If you do have any questions regarding any of the information that you find there, you can contact the programs directly. They're the ones that keep all of this information up to date. And so some of you have probably already been here before, and I'll make it a little bigger. But you'll see full program profiles of every program that participates in ADIA Pass, and they'll have contact information, phone numbers, email addresses, requirements. You'll find lots of information here. You can also click on the heart at the top. You'll see you can favorite some of your programs, and going back to programs, that'll take you back to your full list. And then if you click on the heart, it'll take you to everything that you have favored. And so you'll see a list of all of them here. You can also compare programs by clicking on the compare button, and then you'll be able to compare the programs, up to 4 programs at a time. And so you'll see some basic information. You can kind of compare deadlines, location, things like that. But then if you want to see the full details, you'll go back to their page there, and back to programs will always take you back to the full list. So also on the ADIA Pass website, we have a homepage, and you'll find other resources, including a video tutorial of the application process. So it's similar to what we're doing tonight. You'll also find the resident library. That is videos from residents that have previously gone through this process before. And so on May 8th, it feels like it's right around the corner. So on May 8th, the application cycle will open, and you will be able to create an account. And so once you're able to create an account, and we're going to log in, and I'm just going to show you a live demo of what the application will look like. So once you've logged in and created an account, the application dashboard will show you 4 sections that must be completed in order to submit your application. And so the first 3 sections of the application is considered the core application, and that is the information in these sections that will be sent to every program that you are applying to. On the Add Program tab, this is where you can add programs to your application. So you just check off the programs that you want to add to your program, to your application. My application will take you back. You can easily track the progress in these 4 quadrants. So you'll see the green bars start to go around, and then you'll eventually get a green check mark. On the Add Programs, you can either type in program name if you know what they are. You can use some of the filters in order to narrow down your list. That's helpful as well. And then to navigate back, you're going to click on My Application. And so let's review the 4 required sections of the application, and we're going to start with personal information. So in this section, you will provide some basic background information about yourself. You will also acknowledge a statement about the match process. So while registration for the match takes place on the match website, applicants that plan to participate, that are applying to programs that participate in the match, you want to make sure that you enter your 5-digit match code number here. And so I'm also going to show you their website. You definitely want to visit their website. They have a lot of information available to you about their process. And so the dental match is separate and a distinct service from AdiaPass, and it's administered by a different organization called the National Matching Service. And so not all PASS programs participate in match, and not all match programs participate in AdiaPass. And so you want to find out which programs participate in the match by checking their website. They'll have a list, and you can also go back to that program finder we talked about, and each program profile will tell you whether they participate in match or not. So it'll say yes or no here. I definitely, like I said, encourage you to visit their website because they have a lot of information about dates and match release and how you get registered and all of that information.
I've been to this seminar.
And if you could please remain on mute.
Bye.
Thank you. All right. And so we're going to go back, navigate back to the application. So the next section is academic history. And so in academic history, you want to be sure to report all institutions attended in this section, including your undergraduate, graduate, dental, and your advanced dental education institutions. Official transcripts are required for the dental schools attended only, and so no other official transcripts will be accepted. So if you attended a foreign dental school, a course-by-course evaluation completed by WES or ECE Credential Services is required for the dental school. AdiaPass will allow you to electronically order your official dental school transcript if your school uses the National Student Clearinghouse or Parchment for official transcripts. So if they do not, then you will still be able to print a transcript request form that you can provide to the registrar's office and then have that document mailed into AdiaPass. And so we're just going to show you. So under colleges and dental schools attended, you'll see here, you'll be able to add an institution here, and you're adding everything. So like I said, undergraduate, graduate, dental school. It's really important that you add your dental school here. And you will notice that you'll only get the order function if it's a dental school, because only the dental school transcripts are required. And you'll be able to click here and select one of these in order to order your transcript. And if your school doesn't participate in this particular process, then you can still just print the transcript ID form, and then that would go to the registrar's office, and they would mail it into our office so that we can get it scanned in to your application. And that's how the official transcript would be received. You can also add test information in this section. So you can add your GRE scores, your TOEFL scores, ADAT, and those will be in the ADA section, the national boards, the integrated national boards. You can add all of that information here. So keep in mind that self-reporting your results isn't the same as providing official results to your program, and both are necessary. So you must initiate the process for getting the official results. So if it's for the board, for the ADAT, for the national board, the integrated board, you initiate that with the ADA, and for TOEFL, you initiate that with ETS, and then they will get submitted to us electronically. So the next section is supporting information. So the supporting information section of the application allows you to enter information about your experiences, achievements, and licenses. Additionally, you will request your evaluations and upload a copy of your CV or resume. And you can also upload unofficial undergraduate transcripts. It is very important. So we're going to go to the document section. And this is where you're uploading your CV and your unofficial undergraduate transcripts. So it's very important that you only upload those documents that are indicated in these sections. You don't want to upload other documents here, something else in the slot for updated CV, and then later you want to update your CV and you're unable to because you don't have slots available. So you definitely want to make sure that you're only uploading your CV and your undergraduate transcripts here. So AdiaPass has two types of evaluations. We have the professional evaluation, and we call that the PEF, and we have the institution evaluation form. We call that the IEF. So all evaluations must be submitted electronically, and all evaluations will go to every program designated in your application. The professional evaluation is your traditional letter of recommendation, and you get a minimum of 3 that are required, but up to 5 are accepted. So for the professional evaluation, evaluators will comment on 10 attributes. So integrity, professional demeanor, clinical skills, reaction to criticism, didactic knowledge, critical thinking, interpersonal skills, organizational skills, self-awareness, and maturity. And they provide remarks for each one of those attributes as well. In addition to that, they also have the ability to provide an overall recommendation on your behalf. And so that's how it's considered your traditional letter of recommendation, but we call it the professional evaluation form because of those 10 attributes that evaluators are commenting on and rating. So the next one is the institution evaluation form. This is also known as the Dean's Letter or the IEF. And so this is completed by the Dean's Office, and it includes your class ranking, GPA if applicable, and an evaluation of your ethical behavior, along with overall mandatory comments. And so also the IEF will be sent to every program that you are applying to. And so let's just show you a little bit of the differences in the two. So this is for your professional evaluations where you get 3, a minimum of 3, and a maximum of 5. And so here, all of the evaluation process is electronic. So when you click on create an evaluation, you're going to want to make sure that you've spoken with the evaluator and that you know the email address that they're going to be using to monitor these evaluations. So you enter in their information, you're going to put in a due date. The due date will depend on what your earliest deadline of the programs that you're applying to that you need to meet. So you want to make sure that you put a realistic due date here so the evaluator has time to get that evaluation submitted for you. And then once you submit this, the evaluator will receive an email and instructions on how to electronically submit this evaluation on your behalf. Similar but slightly different process for the institution evaluation. So when you click add here, when you select your dental school, you will see that the information is pre-populated. And so we have all of the U.S. dental schools and some of the international schools listed here. And this will, an email will go directly to this evaluator. So they know who's monitoring this for these evaluations at each school. And the same process will happen after that. They'll receive an email on how to log in and complete this evaluation on your behalf. If your school is not listed here, you want to scroll to the bottom and select Other. And then you would enter in the name of your dental school along with the evaluator and an email address, and the same goes for the due date as far as your deadlines that you're applying to. So that's the first 3 quadrants. That's kind of the core application that you are completing. Each applicant is completing for every program. So every program will receive all of the information in these first 3 sections. And section 4, program materials, is a little different. So when we talked about going here to add programs, when you add programs to your application, they will appear in the program materials section. So in this section, each program selected will have a specific section to upload your personal statement and possibly additional documents and other questions to answer. When uploading your personal statement, be sure to review the screen instructions, as some programs may indicate a specific topic that they would like your personal statement to address. You have the ability to submit the same personal statement for each program, or you can customize your personal statement to each individual program that you're applying to, or or if you're applying to two different specialties, you could do one for orthodontics, one for general practice residency, but you do have the ability to customize your essays. While all programs can see the information entered in the first three sections, the programs can only see the information for their own personal program materials profile. And you must complete this section individually for each program that you are applying to. And so once you click here, you'll see they'll have some of them will have homepage text that'll give you some other information, and it may be similar to what you've seen in the program finder. You'll also have a questions tab, information that you need to enter there. Anything that they have created here, you're going to have to answer those questions. And this one's asking for a GPA. And then documents, this is where you'll find your personal statement, and it could be other documents listed here. Let's see, do we have another one that may have something? And right now, this is just a test application. So there's not a lot of live data in here. There's not any live data in here right now. Yep. So you may find other documents here, like maybe a national board. They want you to upload your national board score report or your TOEFL score report or a copy of your diploma. So you will find that information, and you'll click on each program here and complete the information as necessary for each one of the programs that you are applying to. So as you complete each of the sections, you will see that you'll get a green check mark, and I don't have anything complete, so I don't have the green check marks, but they would be here. Once you have all 4 sections have green check marks, you will be able to start to submit your application. Once you have submitted your application, you want to monitor your application status. To do this, you're going to click on the Check Status tab at the top of the dashboard. And here you can ensure all of your transcripts, evaluations, official test scores. You can monitor that they have been received here. For more information, you can visit the adia.org/pass website. And you can also, in the application, there's a help center. You can click the help center. We'll take you to a help center that you can click on the different sections. And you can also type in keywords that will pull up information. We also have a customer service department that's available, so you can email support@adiapass.myliaison.com, or you can contact them by phone. You can find all of this information on our website as well. And now my colleague, Joseph Clark, he's going to help me go through some of the questions that are coming into the chat. And so if you do have questions, I ask that you put your questions into the chat box, and we're going to do our best to answer as many questions as we possibly can.
Thanks, Yolanda. Can you hear me?
Yes, I absolutely can.
Okay, sorry, I've been having a little internet trouble here. We do have a lot of good questions here. I'm just going to start off with one of the first ones that we got. If we already started filling out the application in the 23-24 cycle, will that information be carried over to the 24-25 cycle when the application opens?
And that was never submitted. That's how I took it. You can definitely, so there is a reapplicant process that you can initiate, and your application from the previous application cycle that will pull over information. So yes, you can. And Joe, can you correct me if I'm wrong? I'm not sure if if it was submitted or not, even if it was just created, will it still roll over?
Correct. Yeah. So even if you had started your application and decided to hold off and apply the next cycle, yes, even if you didn't submit it, it will carry over.
Thank you so much for that.
Then we had another question about the match. So if a program participates in both match and pass, would applying to Adia Pass be sufficient, or would they have to apply to pass and the match?
Yes, so you will. So pass and match have separate roles. And so applying to pass is actually applying to these programs. And applying to match is separate from that. It's match is more about the interview process. So after you've applied to programs, um, and you get selected for interviews and go on interviews, and then you're going to enter your rank order list when that time comes. And when you enter your rank order list, you want to make sure that you're ranking programs that you really want to go to. And that whole process happens with the match process. So yes, you would have to do both if the programs that you're applying to participate in the match.
Thanks, Yolanda. This might be an easy question here. So how do they get access to this recording if they're not able to stay on for the whole thing?
Absolutely. So we're gonna get it posted on our website, and in addition to that, we're also gonna email it out to everyone that registered. So you'll definitely be able to get a copy of this. In addition to that, there is also, like I said, a tutorial on the website now that's very similar to what we're doing. I think the difference here is that this is live and that we have the Q&A that may be helpful to people that didn't get a chance to stick around or missed it.
Thank you. Another question here about institution evaluations. My dean passed away 10 years ago, and I'm unable to get an institution evaluation. What can I do for this?
So with that, whoever is the dean at the institution now should be able to still complete that evaluation for you. In rare circumstances, because we're saying that school still exists, but in rare circumstances where maybe something's going on where you don't have access to the school at all, in the application, there is something called a request for exception, and that will allow you to bypass that requirement for the application. But it's still programs still may want to see something in lieu of that. So you would have to work with the programs directly on what they would want to see if that was the case.
Regarding the recommendation letters, should it be written by an assistant professor or somebody higher?
It really just depends. When you're looking at the program finder, some of the programs will indicate who they want these evaluations to come from. And so that will be helpful. So as you're doing your research, and I know that's a lot because you're looking at all of these different programs and narrowing down the programs that you want to apply to, when you start to narrow that down, you should really take a look at the type of requirements that they have for evaluations to help you make decisions on who you should ask to write these evaluations for you.
Another question about recommendation letters. Do the recommenders need to wait until the application opens on May 8th in order to submit them for applicants?
Yes, you won't even be able to request because all of the evaluations is an electronic process. So you will not be able to request an evaluation until May 8th when the application cycle opens. And then when that happens, once you initiate it, the evaluator will receive an email with instructions on how to complete that for you.
Can we customize recommendation letters?
You
Sorry, go ahead.
no, I'll let you finish.
I was just gonna say, can we customize recommendation letters as per specialty, or are they just viewable to all programs that we apply to?
That is correct. They are viewable to every program that you are applying to. Where you have the ability to get customization will be with your personal statement.
Do any evaluations that the recommenders submit transfer over to the new cycle?
Joe, that's a you question.
They do not. Unfortunately, if you did apply last cycle, and had your professional evaluations done, you will have to send out new requests.
Thank you. And I'm going to drop the link for reapplying in the chat. That might be helpful for you all.
How is the process with the match? Should they register and that's it? Or is there another process to that?
So once you register for the match, you want to definitely in the AdiaPass application enter your 5-digit match code number. That is how programs will know that you have fulfilled that requirement. And that kind of is the gist of it for the AdiaPass application. You want to make sure that programs know that you've registered. And then other than that, you will do everything else when it comes to match on their website. So rank order list and things like that, you will take care of that on the match website.
Thank you. Will any of the program directors that run the programs we're applying to, will they know how many programs we've applied to during this cycle?
They will not. They will only see the information that you have completed for their particular program. So like when we talked about those 4 quadrants, the first 3, everyone will see all of that information, but it does not indicate what programs that you are applying to. And then that 4th section, the program materials, it'll be very program specific information. And they will only have access to that as well. So programs will not know where you've applied to or how many programs you've applied to.
Thanks, Yolanda. Can we apply for residency programs with a foreign degree alone?
Yes, I encourage you to look in the program finder and look at the requirements to see what programs will accept that. So a lot of research. You have to look through a lot of them, and they have some filters to help narrow it down. So hopefully that will help out with that a little bit. But definitely check the requirements for the program.
Here's another question related to the match. Is there a fee related to the match?
There is a fee related to the match. I would encourage you to visit their website. I don't think they have updated the information for their fees yet, but they will open up as well, I do believe on May 8th, so that you can start registering.
Thank you. If we enter the match number on our application, will the non-match schools see that and not consider our application?
I'm sorry, repeat that one.
If we enter the match number into our application, will the non-match schools see that and not consider our application?
So every program will see that match code number. Um, I have not had any experience where that has had any type of negative impact on an applicant's application.
Thank you, Yolanda. Will the schools see that we are a reapplicant if we applied previously?
Joe, can you take that one?
I can. The only way that they'll see that is if you had already applied to that program. So the school may check in the previous cycle to see that if you've already applied to the program or not, but they will not see that you have applied previously in previous cycles to other programs. So they will only see if you've applied to their program previously.
Thank you, Joe.
And here's another question that I can take. As a reapplicant, can we update the information that we added last year? Yes, you can. So when May 8th comes and you log into the 24-25 cycle, it's going to ask you if you want to become a reapplicant. And if you do select yes, it's going to ask you which sections you want to bring over. So once that's done and everything is brought over, you log into your application, and each section is going to ask you to review the information that was brought forward. And it's just going to ask you if it's accurate or if you need to edit it. So yes, you'll be able to edit any of that information that is brought over. This one might be one that we already answered, but just in case anyone missed it, can we start filling out the application before the cycle starts?
No, you cannot. You won't be able to get in there until May 8th.
Do you happen to know when the match registration will open?
I do believe it's going to open. Sam's trying to check their website to see if it's updated yet. but they usually open around the same time that we do.
Perfect. Yeah, I would assume that the match website would have more information about that.
Absolutely. And I see that we have a few hands raised, but what we're doing is we have a lot of people online. And so we're trying to get through as many as we possibly can. And so if you could just put your questions into the chat, that would be really helpful. We also have a customer service line that we're going to make sure we put the information up for that as well, because you can definitely reach out to them directly with very specific questions. And what we will also do is pull a transcript of questions so that we can try and put the Q&A questions and answers on the website as well from this so that that could be helpful also.
Here's another great question that I think sometimes can go overlooked. What time zone does a Dia Pass follow?
We are on Eastern Standard Time. That's a great question. I don't think I've ever gotten that question before. Well, not me. I know you all probably get it all the time.
Yeah, and it's a really important question too, especially because the deadline to submit is 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the deadline date. So you definitely want to keep that in mind.
Thanks, Joe.
How long do you recommend that your personal statement should be?
Um, I don't notice that programs put an allotment on that. It is an upload. But again, I would kind of refer to the instructions. Sometimes a program will have very specific instructions about the essay, about the personal statement and how long it should be and what it should be about. So definitely pay close attention to that. I've actually seen one that requested that the personal statement be handwritten and then uploaded. So you definitely want to make sure that you are paying attention to any instructions there and that you are following those instructions.
Here's another great question. Do we need to wait until all of our evaluation letters are submitted in order to submit to any programs?
Great question. You do not. So once you have entered your request, and everything else that needs to be entered, you will be able to submit your application, and then you can just follow up on this check status tab to monitor when those documents have been received in our office or electronically.
Thanks, Yolanda. Can I choose not to carry over my transcript from last cycle? I can handle this one. So if you decide to be a reapplicant, it's going to carry over all of your transcripts and test scores from the previous cycle, and there isn't a way to pick and choose which transcripts or test scores are going to be carried over. So it's basically all or none.
And with that, Joe, there is the opportunity to submit an updated transcript if that is necessary, correct?
Absolutely. So just because you're carrying over your transcripts and test scores doesn't mean that you can't send in updated transcripts or test scores. So as soon as the cycle opens, if you do have updated transcripts or updated test scores, you can send them in.
Great.
Here's another great question about carrying information over. If I request the information be transferred from last cycle, is it possible to delete an old TOEFL score? It is not. So as I mentioned, when you do carry over your transcripts and test scores, they will be on your new application, and there isn't a way to remove those, unfortunately. Yolanda, do you happen to know the most common mistakes an applicant might make when applying to a Dia Pass?
Um, so some of the things that come up, that come to mind when I hear about this is for some reason not entering your dental school attended in the dental school, college attended, dental school attended section. If you don't enter your dental school attended there, the system's not going to prompt you to submit your official dental school transcripts. And so that's going to be a delay because then programs are going to have to contact you to request that you get this information into their office. So I definitely would say that. Um, and some of the where you can upload the CV, resume, and undergraduate transcripts has been pretty popular that other things have been uploaded there. And you want to make sure that you are only uploading those documents in those sections. So you don't want to upload other things um, that it could negatively impact your application, kind of look like you don't follow the instructions, things like that. So you want to make sure that you're following the instructions carefully. And something else that comes to mind is just proofreading. You want to make sure that you're proofreading all of your information before you submit it, because once you submit your application, you can't go back and make changes very, very minimal places. You can update phone number, email address, things like that. You can add some things if you have experiences or things that you need to add, but you can't edit what's already there. So just having someone else look at your information to read through it. I know I'm famous for I'm reading what I think I'm saying, but it really doesn't say that. So if someone else is reading it for you, it'll help you to catch just small errors that you want to make sure that you are shining in your application. Some of these programs are very competitive, and so you want to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward.
Perfect. How do we know if the program we're applying to requires you to register for the match?
On their program finder page, it will say it's a space for match status and it will say yes or no. And also on the match website, they have a list of all of the programs that participate in the match.
How can we tell if our transcripts and test scores have been received by Adia Pass?
In the check status tab of the application, you'll be able to check on all of your evaluations as well as transcripts there and test scores, right, Joe?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay.
What is the difference between being a complete applicant and an in-progress applicant?
So in progress means that you've clicked on a program, kind of like I did in the demo, and you're just looking around. It doesn't necessarily mean that you've submitted anything. And you could have even filled out some information, but if you haven't submitted it, then the program won't see it. So in progress applicants, the programs don't see the information. Once you submit that application, it will be marked as received. And so programs will be able to view some of the application information. And once all of the documents, so your dental school transcript, all your evaluations come in, then it gets marked as complete.
Thank you. How do I request my ECE transcript to be sent to Adia Pass?
So in the application, there is an order button, and it will allow you to electronically order that information directly from ECE or WES. So once you've entered that dental school attended, that order button will appear for any dental schools attended.
Thank you. Here's another question about test scores being carried forward. I do not want my ADAT scores to be carried forward. What can I do? Because the scores usually get attached automatically. As I mentioned, there isn't a way to remove test scores, official test scores from your application once they have been received. So if they were received in the 23-24 cycle, they will be on your 24-25 cycle, and there is not a way to remove it. Here's another question that I can answer. I've submitted my application to Adia Capid and now applying to Adia Pass. Do I need to resend all that information over to Adia Pass as well? Yes, you will. Unfortunately, since Adia Capid and Adia Pass are two completely separate applications, whatever you have on your Adia Capid application will not be moved over to your Adia Pass application. So you will have to fill out the Adia Pass application itself and send any transcripts and evaluation letters that you may need. An institution evaluation question, can it be done by a former professor that we know well rather than the actual dean that doesn't know me at all?
So it has to be, so the dean's office um, will determine who's completing this. So it'll either be the dean's office or whom they have designated. So it does have to be from that, from the dental school's dean's office. Yes, it does. So if you have another evaluator in mind that knows you well, that could maybe better provide you with one of the professional evaluations, that could be an option also.
So here's another reapplicant question. So if I'm a reapplicant and I'm choosing not to carry my information over and start a fresh application, will the scores like TOEFL and ADAT be automatically attached to the application? So the way that your test scores are matched to your application is based on the your name, your date of birth, DENPIN. So if we have that information in our system already, the scores will match to your application. So even if you do choose to start a fresh application, the test scores are still linked to your name, your DENPIN, your date of birth, so they will be matched to your application regardless. Here's a question. Are the programs sure to take into account the last test result we had? It's really a program on a program basis. It's something that you may want to reach out to the program about and ask them that. And that wouldn't be something that we would be able to answer, unfortunately.
Looks like we are kind of getting down to the wire with some duplicates. I do see a question about, I was able to pull open this chat to help you out a little bit. Um, it's a question about how old can the recommendations be. All of the evaluations have to be requested in the application currently. So though that information does not roll over, and it's all an electronic process. And so they have to be requested in the application, and then the evaluators will uh, complete them electronically. So we don't accept paper evaluations. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and wrap up this presentation for this evening. I really appreciate you all joining us. Sorry, we couldn't get to all of the questions because there was a lot coming through, but also a lot that were duplicates. I will definitely work on getting a transcript of the Q&A so that we can load that to the website to help you out as FAQs. We also have a wonderful customer service department that can help you via email and phone number, which is all on our website. So we'll make sure you all get that information. We'll also make sure that you all get a copy of this recording when we send it out to everyone that registered and attended tonight. We really appreciate all of your time, and we wish you all the best of luck on your journey as you apply to ADIA Pass. You have a great evening. Thank you so much.